Hello, this is the Nightline Podcast. My name's James Pikeway, and if you want to learn more about the program, please go to www.dubai1038.com or email us, nightline@dubai1038.ae. Enjoy the show.
Good evening and welcome to Nightline. Imtishan, the intrepid automotive journalist, is joining us from Motoring Middle East. Shazad, well, he was caught in traffic in a Mercedes-Benz.
What an excuse.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going with that. He's caught in traffic in a Mercedes. And not just, some run-of-the-mill, run-down, beaten-up Mercedes. Top of the line, beautiful machine. It sounds to me like that's what you want to have happen when you're driving a Mercedes.
You know what? That Mercedes has the most confusing name in the world.
Okay, go for it.
It's a C450.
What does that mean?
What does C450 mean?
I don't know.
Okay, in the old Mercedes nomenclature, what do you think that would mean for a car?
A C450?
It's a C-class,
Yeah,
smallest one, almost smallest.
With a monster engine in it.
Yeah, 4.5 liter.
Exactly. Twin
turbo
yeah.
6, or maybe a big 8.
Yeah.
No. It's about a 3 liter V6.
Okay.
450 just doesn't mean anything. It's
so
just a
they're
number
just throwing numbers
up.
down now?
It could be the 456. It could be the 600. Who knows?
Okay.
Who really knows?
All right.
To be honest, I haven't driven it. Shazad has, but since he's tired, and we're going to name him and shame on air, he's tired.
He's
so
tired.
To be honest,
tired. It was a hard drive in the Mercedes.
Seriously, especially considering what I've been driving.
Okay, so we will get to Shazad next week, and we'll talk about the nomenclature, and we'll talk about this Mercedes. Actually, what did I see today? It was. All I know is it was
making noises, but no actual words.
Because I was looking at the number, and it was one of the off-roaders, but not a G-Wagon, but whatever it was, and it was kind of round, and I had to take 3 looks because I thought it maybe it was a Mazda CX-9. It wasn't a Mazda.
CX-5?
No, it wasn't a Mazda. It was a Mercedes. And
was it one of the new ones? GLE, GLS,
yeah, something
GL,
like that. Something like that. And I was just...
Was it a little one or was it a big one?
Well, it was the size of a CX-9.
Could be the GLE or the GLC.
All I was remarking at that point was how much it looked like a Mazda. And I thought, that's interesting.
It's a bad thing. I like Mazda.
I know you like Mazdas.
Mercedes might not be too chuffed about the association.
I'm thinking not. But anyway, that was kind of interesting. But you...
Did it appeal to you?
No.
That's a shame. I mean, all that money going to R&D and the car doesn't really catch your eye.
Yeah, but remember,
Mercedes is not cheap.
I'm the same guy who's the Evoque doesn't really jump out at me either. The Range Rover Evoque. So.
Well, the Evoque, now we can say the Evoque is old news because it's old-fashioned. It's 2012. It's done.
But no, it didn't jump out at me. I know you and Shazad really like the rounded, curved Mazda-esque look, and like the Mazdas. I like a Mazda. I just don't like the way they look anymore. And I want something that's a little...
That's crazy talk.
I like
that's
edges.
Crazy talk.
I like what Cadillac's doing. Cadillac has got it. They've got sharp edges on their vehicles.
You could cut your face on their cars.
Exactly.
This is not true.
And so somewhere in between, maybe, the Cadillac and the Jelly Bean look of a Mazda might be
well,
optimal.
Toyota's doing some interesting things. They've got soft bits, and then they got sharpy, knife edge faces. Lexus is the same. Lexus is actually a good example of somewhere in the middle of that. Yeah. And then Audi is just sort of there.
Audi's there.
Just there.
What have you been driving? Because you were talking about an experience. You're still suffering from a little bit of hearing loss at this moment.
Hearing loss, eye loss, everything loss. I've been driving a car that has no roof, no doors. In fact, no power locking because there's no need for any of that. No power brakes, no power steering. You guessed it, this is a manual. There's no automatic gearbox in all of this. And at any speed, the Caterham barrier, which you cannot see because this is a radio, the little strings that tighten my hoodie.
You're wearing a very nice open hoodie, a Columbia jacket, so people get a sense of what you're wearing. A little bit of windbreaker in there.
The little strings that tighten the hoodie, that weigh nothing, have been whipping me in the face. In a way that a sadomasochist would enjoy. It's just been absolutely beating me across the face.
So what are you driving?
I am driving a Caterham 360R.
All right, so right now there's a whole bunch of people who've just pulled over to the side of the road
and they're Googling frantically.
Yeah, they're frantically Googling. What is
if you Google Caterham, they all pretty much look like the same car.
Okay, so what is this?
The Caterham is the latest variant of a very, very old 50s design. The Shazad very familiar with because he's in the 50s. It's the Lotus 7, but obviously Caterham brought all the tooling and they make it now. So you know how the Lotus Elise is like a modern, simple sports car?
Yes.
The Caterham is exactly the same car that it was in the 50s.
All right.
Sorry, the 60s, because that's where it was famously used in The Prisoner, if you remember the TV show.
Uh-huh.
So it's basically the simplest sports car in the world. Engine in the front, rear-wheel drive, you in the middle, a little bit of bodywork made of aluminium, and that's all you need. And it's basically the world's best sports car.
Really, the world's best sports car.
Oh, I guarantee it. I have a Caterham Virgin, shall I say, and now I've driven one, and it's hard to deny its charms. And also how much of a brutal, unyielding experience it is. There is nothing like this car. So Caterham's now in the UAE. You can get one at Al Futtaim.
So which one are you driving?
I'm in the middle one, which is 360R.
Okay.
So I'm not exactly sure the price. They're not cheap. I think mine's around either 140 or 160.
I mean, they look phenomenal.
They are one of a kind. If you bring them up now, I mean, everybody who's thought of a sports car, the Caterham is it.
So, I mean, just describing this is a
cycle fenders.
Yeah, it's a two-seater. It's got that huge bonnet stretching out in front of you. It's low.
It's a rectangle, the bonnet. The whole car is a rectangle.
It's low to the ground. You remember, if we're thinking about the Vipers, the way the front wheels.
Except this has less bodywork than a Viper.
And there's
it's an incredible machine.
You know, the suspension is there to see. You've got your.
You can see the wheels bobbing up and down when you go over bumps.
Your exhaust pipes are going off the side. There's
ready to burn you, your passenger.
There is no finesse with those things, and of course it's on the passenger side. What color?
This one's white.
Oh, nice.
Not my favorite color. I think Caterham will make a car in any color. It's so custom. These cars can be built to order. Pretty much get anything you like. A little note about engines. There's a variety of engine options, all the way up to a really, really powerful, the 420R, which is insane. Don't get the 420R. But the base car has like a little trip 3-cylinder Suzuki motor with a turbo on it.
180 horsepower?
The one I've got is the 180 horsepower. So it's a 2-liter Ford engine, 180 horsepower. But don't be fooled. Just because it says Ford, you think, oh, okay, this is going to be a nice, polite little Ford that I can take to the shops. No. This is absolutely crazy. Everything Ford about this car has been chucked away and driven through some sort of serial killer filter on Instagram. And the whole car is a savage, clawing beast that is never, ever less than an intense, unyielding, hallucinogenic experience to drive.
24,000 pounds is what one of these would set you back.
Yeah, I think it's whatever that is in dirhams.
And
oh gosh, you can personalize this thing up the wazoo.
0 to 100 kilometers in 4.8 seconds.
See, the thing about Caterhams is none of them are slow. Even the slowest one does about 6 seconds. 4.8 seconds in a car with no bodywork, with you are the crash protection, feels like 0 to 100 in 2 seconds. Actually, the top ones will do 2.5 seconds.
Wow.
There is nothing faster for the money. And nothing that handles better as well. I mean, it's an absolutely ballistic thing. 180 horsepower may not seem a lot, but the car only weighs like 600 kilos with you in it. And it is insanely fast and intense, insanely raw. I can only urge everybody in the world to go and drive one. Because once you drive one, you will understand what driving is really about.
Here's what becomes interesting. This vehicle weighs...
None of that was interesting.
560 kgs. That's it.
So basically, I'm ruining the power-to-weight ratio by... eating anything.
Yeah, I mean it's incredible.
It's a savage car. Some of you are wondering, okay, this sounds tempting. This car seems like I could have a bit of fun. Maybe take it to the track. No, don't do that. It's really fast and it's really small. So it's like taking a small rocket onto a track. Everything towers over you. I drove by a Corolla. Okay, that's not a big car. In the Caterham, it's an aircraft carrier.
Really?
For size comparisons. And it is so it's also not the least bit easy to drive. The clutch is like concrete. The brakes have no servos, no ABS.
What?
You might as well be getting out and pressing the pads yourself.
I'm just looking at some of the options. A heater,
which you don't get in the Middle East.
12-volt socket.
That's why you can plug in your USB.
Yeah, it's optional.
So you can watch your phone fly out.
A 6-speed gearbox, optional.
Yeah, I have the 5-speed, and I can't even tell if I need a 6-speed.
Yeah.
It is not at all easy to drive. The whole car is so raw. You want to approximate the experience? Go and cut yourself.
So who's gonna buy this? Because
people who will really, really like driving. Because it is that car. It is not for the poser, the person who wants to go up and down JBR. Let's put it this way. If you want to, say, attract a lady friend or a man friend, if you're a lady, this is not the car.
Okay.
This is not the car, unless you want to terrify them senseless.
Yeah.
This is not the kind of car that makes you go, whoa. This is, as Shahzad put it, the most selfish car in the world. Because it's all about you.
Yeah.
And once you get over the first day of abject terror driving it, which is what I've had, abject terror. I drove home in traffic, wearing the wrong shoes, a pair of Adidas's, couldn't feel the pedals, drove in traffic, car hated it, I hated it, I just wanted to drive it right back to the showroom.
Yeah.
But the next day, once you get over that acclimatization
Which
period...
shoes did you decide you needed to wear?
I don't know if I can plug these shoes, but I'm just going to say Onitsuka Tigers, which have very thin
Okay.
soles.
All right.
You can use any sort of Alpine style, but you need a good driving shoe, because you need to feel the pedals.
Uh-huh.
And once you do, it is magic. Absolutely magic. I can't tell you any car that I've ever driven that feels like a Caterham. It is so fast that there are gaps in the road that other people cannot see, and you can make it. Nothing is faster, point to point.
Really?
I mean, you can bring it. You can bring your Ferraris, Chevrolets, whatever. It doesn't
Now,
matter.
what's the reaction when you get some of these folks who've got these, muscle cars or, the Audi A6s and
Open-mounted
stuff?
surprise.
They drive up beside you, they take one look, and then...
Well, taking pictures, because it's quite a photogenic car, and people do take a lot of pictures, and people are pulling alongside. I get lots of chats and that sort of thing. But you can take anybody, any gear, anytime. Doesn't matter what gear you're in. You can just don't have to drop a gear. This is not the Fast and the Furious. You just press the accelerator and boof, you're just gone. It's like a motorcycle.
And
it's a four-wheel motorcycle.
And because it's so open and because it's so low, you not only are taking those vehicles, but you're physically feeling the fact that you are surpassing
man, you
them.
are feeling the G-force. I don't know. I mean, you can describe my face when I walked in the door because I've just got out of the car.
You came in a little bit. The word that Tim Elliott might use is disheveled.
I think life and the blood is starting to come back to my face.
Discombobulated is
That's
another
the
one.
bad necessity, isn't that from the Jungle Book?
You were talking about how you were unable to hear in one ear, still suffering, as you said, from being whipped by the ties on your jacket. It's not only do you have to have proper.
I'm not selling this experience well to people, but
like as you said, this is a car for the driver. This is the opposite.
It's a toy. It's a
this
toy. It's
is-
not a car you drive every day, but you'll want to drive it every day.
So you were driving around and Shahzad had the long-term test of the A8. I want to say the Audi.
yes, that was a while back. Yeah, but
This is the polar opposite to that
oh
vehicle.
gosh, this is the polar opposite of everything on this universe. I have to say that it's interesting to compare this to another car that Alpha Team also sells. You remember the Morgan three-wheeler?
Yes.
Now that is a cute, fantastic little thing, and that is actually one of my favorite cars ever. It just makes you happy. But that's a gentleman's car,
Yeah.
and this is a rascal's car.
A rascal's car.
By comparison, if that's a Harley Davidson, if you're talking motorbikes,
Yeah.
this is a Hayabusa.
It's the
The
venting.
characters are so different.
It's the venting and the lights on the front.
See, you don't cruise in this car.
Yeah.
You're on it. You don't gently accelerate.
You're on it.
You are on it. Because if you're not on it, the car doesn't respect you. And if the car doesn't respect you, you're going to hate it. But once you are on it, it all comes together. It is you have to drive it because then you'll know what driving is. If you don't drive this car, your automotive education is not complete.
If you want to go take a look at these online, Caterham cars. If you go to uk.caterhamcars.com, you can see the entire lineup. They've got a phenomenal web page that gives you a great view of
They
their
used to have a
vehicles.
lot more models actually, and they actually simplify it down to about 3 or 4 cars.
I think that makes sense.
But the guy's thing is you can customize it. You want stripes on whatever color you want. You can bring in any color you like. They'll paint the car in the UK and ship it over. In the UK, you can actually buy the cars and build them yourself. Obviously, that's not
Yeah.
an option out here.
Yeah, it does have that kit car look. So
It is a kit car. Kit car build quality as well. But on the other hand, it feels reliable enough that it hasn't broken anything. Nothing's unlike the Morgan, which had a few teething troubles. This thing's been pretty strong.
Yeah.
But it's just a sense of terror. Because you could put your hand without much effort out the side,
Yeah.
and pretty much lose all the skin on any part that touches the tarmac. So
Here we go.
Here you go is the way you describe the Caterham. Here we go.
This is a true driving car. You're listening to Car Talk. Imtishan's here from Motoring Middle East. We want you to get involved in the conversation. In fact, Ahmed's already got a question about his dash on his radio. Sorry, he's got a question. We're going to get to that. Ian, the Skoda guy, he's just laughing out loud. We're going to get to that as well. If you got questions about cars, you're wondering, should I buy this? Should I buy that? Is this good? Is that good? What about this versus that? The Maxima versus the Ultima? What about a Skoda? You know, this is the place to get involved. We want to hear from you. Car Talk. Imtishan is here from Motoring Middle East, which means we're talking cars, and we got a whole bunch of texts. They're all coming through. Keep them coming, by the way, but we're heading to the phone lines because not only can you go to 4001 and get involved in the program, 04-423-1010, get you live and direct into Imtishan's ear in the studio.
Well, one of them.
Yeah, the one that's working since the Caterham is the other one's the eardrum is sitting in the Caterham still. Yeah. We got the very common dilemma on the phone line right now.
Mustang versus Camaro?
I wish. We're going to get to that one again. We haven't had that one in a long time, but you know what?
Tonight could be the night.
The dilemma, as we're going to hear, is which 7-seater do you think we should go for? Good evening. Welcome to Nightline. And great. Did you say first-time caller to the Car Talk show?
Indeed, Doctor. It's a long-time listener, first-time caller.
Man, okay, thank you very much for calling through.
The courage has finally come to him.
You know, this has been dubbed the last bastion of testosterone, although that does not... Not by us, which does not mean that we do not encourage female listeners to also get involved.
We like estrogen. It's not a bad thing.
But,
go on.
So what? You've got a problem. You've got 3 vehicles you got to choose from, and you're not sure where to go.
Indeed. I'm looking at a Lexus GX460, Ford Explorer, and LR4. So they're all 7-seaters. I know they're all very different cars, but they're all 7-seaters. They've all got their pros and cons, but I wanted to hear what Intishan's thoughts were on which one he would go for.
They're pretty varying budgets. I mean, the Explorer is quite cheap comparatively, unless you're going for the top-of-the-line EcoBoost.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that one.
So you're looking at new cars?
Actually, they're all about a year old. They're all very similar. They're not much different. But
pre-owned
right.
Or CPO?
That's pre-owned. Yeah, that's right. They're all about. One of them is about a year old at most. They're all about 7-8 months old.
So before I answer the question, the thing we always ask is, which one do you like?
You know, looks-wise, the LR4.
Yeah.
Toys-wise, the Ford Explorer's got quite a few good toys, and it's quite well laid out. But the reliability, long-term sort of residual value, the Lexus is good. So they've all got their pros and cons.
Okay, now you've clearly overthought this. Let us put you at ease, because you have now reached what we call decision paralysis. You cannot make another move.
You've probably been talking to my wife. She says the same thing. Because
I'm coming over for lunch next week. Okay, let's have a quick look at these cars. GX460 is a pretty solid car. They feel a bit old now. That's the problem with them. It's basically a very fancy Prado. And unless
it
you
looks
go
great
off
from the outside, but looks tired inside, yeah.
See, you're already answering the question. I think if you want a modern Lexus, the GX460 is fine if you need that ruggedness, but just buy a Prado and save the cash. Or look at the new RX, which is a very modern car. But it's not a 7-seater, so that's your problem. Unless you want to spring for an LX570, which is quite pricey. So I would take that one out of the set, because it's a bit old. Good car, but not necessarily fitting your needs. Explorer is the rocket ship. If you're talking about the sport version with the twin turbo, that is a fast one. That's a nice car. I like driving it. So I would have that. LR4, do you plan to go off-road and camp? Ever?
The idea is there probably once in a blue moon, but it's not going to be a regular occurrence, no. I can't imagine.
Yeah, in that case, if you ever think you're going to camp, the LR4 is a good car. It is a bit old, and frankly speaking, it's due for an update. I think this year we're going to see a new Discovery. So haggle hard on that car. The other thing about Land Rovers is that once they pass 100,000, they start to gradually sort of undress themselves. So reliability is not their strongest suit. You won't catastrophically fail, but they are a little bit expensive.
So hold on.
Unless you buy the warranties, which case go for it.
If he's only going off-road once in a blue moon, maybe never, why wouldn't he just go for the ultimate machine, which we know is the Ford?
Yeah, I think the Ford is a great, fun car to drive around in.
Beautiful technology on board.
Yeah.
Faster than fast.
I mean, the regular Explorer will go places as well if you don't want the sport version. Another option to think about, maybe Land Cruiser, because that will do everything and anything, and you can get 7-seater.
Yeah.
You can get they're not cheap second hand, but residual values, ultimate residual values. So there you go.
Yeah.
Do you think you're going to keep it past 100,000 kilometers?
I'll probably definitely keep it for at least 5 years. I'm just worried about what it will be like when I'm finished with it.
With the Land Rover, I can tell you right now, it'll be an interesting experience. But again, not to worry if you get
but the Land Rover's got 5 going right now. They've got 5 years warranty, service packages.
Just extend it, and you're fine. Don't worry about that. The Ford is good as well, also extendable warranties. So really, the best drive I think is the Ford. If you want to go off road a little bit, think the Land Rover. But really think if you're going to go off road, if you've never done it before, it might be simpler to buy like a cheap 25,000 Wrangler or something. If you're going to go camping, the Ford won't do it. The EcoSport has really small tires, so this is going to get stuck off-road. So I wouldn't take it off-road.
But okay, and if I was just to open the question up to you, which 7-seater would you choose? Just what would you go for?
Nissan Patrol.
Yeah, I mean, really, the Patrol is the obvious choice here for a car that does it all, and it's in that bracket. I think it's in that price bracket that you just described.
And what isn't there the whole Dr. Suleiman's edition? What do they call that?
Yeah,
one?
he doesn't need the Desert Racing edition.
Yeah, you do. If you're going to get the Patrol, get the Desert Racing, because you're going to be disappointed if you don't have
James is outpointing me, because I was going to say Land Cruiser or maybe like Durangos. Durangos are good. I like Durangos.
Yeah,
They're really cheap.
Just go for the Patrol.
But right now the Patrol is a hot car. And it drives really nicely. So have a drive of it. You might be surprised by the Patrol. It's super popular, and it's for a reason. And residual values are on the up because the car is selling like hotcakes.
You roll up somewhere in the Patrol, people turn their heads and they go, he's here.
Yeah. They won't have, because he's taken up 2 blocks.
Yeah.
It's got road presence, I mean.
But of the three that you threw out there, if I wasn't really planning on doing any off-roading and it's just for driving, I'd be going for the Ford. If it wasn't going for the Ford and you're thinking the LR4, I'd probably go for a Durango then instead.
Yeah, I mean the LR4.
I wouldn't buy the LR4.
I like it, but it's feeling old. It's feeling its age. There are other options in the segment now. Yeah. It's a nice car though. It's a nice car, but it just feels old.
There we go.
Just like the Lexus to that matter.
Yeah. Did that help at all?
It does indeed. It really does. Yeah. I think I'll probably go for the Ford, guys.
Oh, awesome! When you do, let us know how you make out. We want to hear the whole driving out of the.
And if it goes wrong, don't ever call us back.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I'll hunt you down.
Well, we're not very easy to find. Thank you very much for your time.
Hey, thank you. Have a great night.
Thanks.
Bye.
You too. Bye.
There we go. See, another happy customer there.
I mean, he's probably thoroughly confused now. And he's probably talking to his wife and saying, "Do you know Imtisha?" Where did you meet
coming for lunch? Why is he coming for lunch? How come I didn't know about this?
We're gonna have some picky. He's a picky eater, isn't he?
But I like those choices. I mean, I'm curious why, say, a Land Cruiser or the Patrol weren't in that list. I mean,
I think they're ubiquitous, and I think people discount them because they're ubiquitous.
Now,
and the Patrol's huge, and the Land Cruiser is also a bit old. But they are good cars to drive. I mean, there's a reason they're one of the most popular vehicles. The 2 of the most popular vehicles in the UAE.
I think the Patrol is just it.
And here's the thing, as opposed to the American car, I mean, the Ford will be fine. The Land Rover will be eventually fine. But there is a sense of toughness.
Yes. Ford tough.
About these.
Ford tough.
About the Japanese cars, I was going to say that the other two cannot compare to, because you are never going to have issues with those cars. Never. No, unless you jump them off dunes and things.
Speaking of, there's a video that I'll post up the link from Motor Trend is where I found it, and it's a Ford F-150 that a guy was retiring. So I thought
very spectacularly.
Yeah, he retired it with an anti-tank gun. It's actually a good video.
Yeah,
he really loves his vehicle too, so it wasn't a sad thing.
Some non-suitable language, I should point out.
Not
work safe.
Watch it first before you play this somewhere. But it's
an interesting projectile trajectory.
Yeah. Hey, Ahmed's got a question, Imtisha. Maybe you can help him. He accidentally switched his instrument language to Dutch in his Wrangler. Any idea how to switch it back?
Hope you can remember what the settings. I mean, Wranglers doesn't have that many. I don't know if it's a Sport or a Rubicon, but basically there are only about 3 or 4 options. And once you get in there, it's settings. You'll be stopped. I think it's settings, then you press right, and then you sort of scroll through it. But You can lock into it. I mean, or you can just go to the service center in 2 seconds. They'll fix it for you.
Yeah, I think you just drop by the service
Or
center.
if you have a friend who has a Wrangler, you should be able to sort it out for you. But just go to the service center. It's literally a 2-minute job because they memorize all the settings.
Yeah, my Wrangler
They don't speak Dutch, but
does not have that problem. I didn't even know you could change language, so
you should be able to change language in your Wrangler as well.
Well, I'm not
You do
a-
have the settings option.
I'm sure not going to experiment with that.
Well, it's amazing to have a Wrangler where you can change languages. This is
Yeah.
a Wrangler we're
That's what
talking
I'm
about.
thinking.
I'm still amazed that we can do that. By the way, how annoying is that prank when somebody goes and changes the language of your car?
Yeah. Now that people know, they're going to be in mine.
Yeah.
Hey, lots to talk about. We've got more texts coming through. Ian the Skoda guy still laughing. And if you want to get involved in the program, you got a question about something you're driving, something you love, something you hate, trying to make that
Something
choice.
that's made you deaf.
Something that's made you deaf, exactly. This is the show to be doing that. This is 1 hour of automotive intrigue and education and maybe even just a little bit of entertainment, all bundled into one to quench anyone's appetite,
Word of the
thirst,
day, quench.
quench, yeah, for automotive news and views. Get involved. This is how. And by the way, Imtishan's here from Motoring Middle East. It is Car Talk. Imtishan's here from Motoring Middle East, and Shazad has come through, and he said, you know what? Basically, find a 16-year-old. Ahmed, he can help reprogram the language in your Wrangler.
It's terrible, isn't it? It's terrible.
They'll figure it out.
We were playing with the BMW 7 Series recently, and I feel so old when I look at all these toys and things. And then his son got into the car and figured it out.
There we
like
go.
That. I'm snapping my fingers,
There we
but
go.
I can't snap my fingers.
Yeah, there we go. Let's head to the phone lines. We've got Fazane joining us. Good evening, sir. How are you doing?
Good evening. I'm doing good. That's Faizan, Faizan.
Fazan, great to have you
Yeah.
here. So what's the dilemma you've got with respect to buying a car?
Have basically got a dilemma which is related to transmissions. Basically, it's very hard to find a manual transmission car in the UAE.
Yes, but you want
So,
one.
yes, I would want one, and let me tell you, my maximum budget is I would want a new manual transmission car, and probably one which has got like which has 5 proper doors and I can seat my family in the car as
So
well.
not a Caterham. You
So-
don't want a Caterham.
Oh, no. I've been hearing that. I've been hearing the Caterham review. It's a very good car, I mean, for a driving enthusiast, but I've got...
For
I've
everybody,
got to-
excuse me, for everybody. But just buy 5 Caterhams, it's fine.
It makes you appreciate life, is what that vehicle
It's
does.
worth living. It's so worth living.
So okay, so
Well, I hope my wife understands that.
Imtisham, what's he got available?
Well, what's your budget?
Yeah,
Faizan? What's your budget?
What do you want to spend?
My maximum budget is 200,000 dirhams.
You got a lot of money to spend.
Oh, man, you got some options too.
Okay, but you haven't told us what kind of car do you like? Are we talking about trucks, sports cars? What's the deal?
No, I'd want a proper saloon car. A saloon or a hatchback.
Now this is getting a little harder.
Yeah, now that just got tricky. Because nobody
Volkswagen? Nothing in the...
makes
Audi?
a saloon.
No, Volkswagen, the Golf doesn't have any
No.
manual.
It does, but not in this market.
They don't bring them here. This is
yeah.
the problem.
Not for
Yeah,
love or
exactly.
money.
Toyota?
Nope.
The
Nope.
86?
No,
That's not a family
Yeah,
car.
that's
The
not a fam-
86 is
It's
not
a
a family
two.
car.
Yeah, you're not getting the family in there.
The trouble is in this market there aren't a whole lot. This is actually a very cunning question. I like it. There aren't a lot of manual cars left
I'm
in
thinking
this
Nissan.
market.
What's Nissan got? Anything?
Nope.
No.
The only thing they do is the 370Z. The Patrol, the old one is available with the manual. They still sell it as a Safari, and they do sell the new one for 200k with the manual. So it's actually on a quite nice manual. So if you like it, it's a V8. But if you're looking for, are you looking for a sporty car?
He wants a saloon car. He doesn't want to. You don't.
You know, in
want
the
a
old
Patrol.
days, Chevrolet used to do the Lumina.
Yeah.
That was a nice car with the manual. One of the
Yes,
best cars.
I recall that.
Whoa,
Proper
whoa.
rear-wheel drive.
The Mazda,
Which one?
the 6.
No.
No.
No manual.
Okay, no manual.
So basically, Honda,
No,
believe it or not,
they
makes
don't
a
do
manual.
manuals because I work for Mazda. I know that.
there we go.
I
Well,
work
then
for Galadari.
it's your fault we don't have a manual MX-5.
Yeah, we're
It's
blaming
your
you.
fault.
We are personally
Send-
blaming you.
I'll try to speak to the marketing manager regarding
Send,
this.
so you know what? I can say this personally because I used to have a manual MX-5, and some nice
Okay,
gentleman
hold
Mazda.
on. Okay,
I'm getting sidetracked.
Yeah, you were venturing towards Honda.
Honda actually makes a manual V6 Accord. We don't get it.
Okay.
No,
So
no.
that's a good
Yes,
car.
they might be getting that in the US or probably Europe.
200,000 is a nice,
Not
healthy
here.
budget, but you are just not gonna get many cars that fit there. M3.
I've driven two recently. I mean, I'd like your comments on that. One is the Ford Focus RS.
Oh, you said saloon. Okay, that's a hatchback. All right, fine. The ST,
Yeah,
you
no,
mean,
no,
the
no.
ST.
Even a hatchback will work. Even a hatchback will work.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that opens it up a bit.
You
Yeah.
head down the Opal range too.
And the other one was a Subaru Impreza.
Ooh.
What have you done any Opals? Have you headed into the Opal showroom? They've got now.
No.
Ooh.
No.
Okay,
I haven't.
which one did you like?
Yeah, out of the Impreza.
To be very frank, I mean the Ford Focus was front wheel drive, so but it was very good looking. I really liked it with all the spoilers and the body kits and all the stuff. The Impreza was a bit. It was like my daddy telling me to mind to follow all the rules because it was 4-wheel drive, lots of grip.
Yeah.
It was all-wheel drive.
Was
lots
it the
of grip,
STI or the WRX?
WRX.
All right. Well,
So-
the thing about the WRX is you got to remember they're two different cars. The Focus ST is very much a complete car out of the box. I think these are actually two very good choices, probably your only choices. The Focus ST.
How about a Lancer Evolution?
What, a second-hand one?
Yeah, probably.
No, there's no new ones available. Lance Evolution's out of production now, so the new ones and
Yeah.
everything else will be a couple of years old. I wouldn't recommend it because most of them have been trashed, modified, and ruined. So it's very, very hard. I mean, I've been looking personally for years to find a Lance Evolution that hasn't been messed with, and it's impossible. It's darn near impossible. So the problem you have is that you're looking at the Focus or the WRX. And the WRX is a good car from the point of view of modification. If you're looking to tweak it, to fiddle with it...
You think his wife is going to let him tweak and fiddle with the car?
Maybe
You
his
are mad. His wife's not going to let him do that.
Okay, they can buy the STI.
Exactly.
Well, buy the STI. You got 200,000 of the STI is basically pre-modified.
Yeah,
And
go
you
for
can
it.
you can tweak
I would
the
be all
balance
over the
to
Ford.
be more rear-wheel drive if you
Yeah,
want.
I'd be all over that Ford. There's
And
no
the Ford-
question.
The Ford. Okay, my problem with the Ford is I don't really fit very well in the Ford because I have wide hips. And the seats are not the most comfortable thing in the world. The Focus ST.
You know what?
But
I'd still
if
be
you
all
can
over
put
it.
up with the ride comfort of it, or if you find it appealing, then the Focus ST is a good, solid option. It's kind of all the car you need.
Yeah.
And they got lots of good offers at Altair. I'm
And
told.
he's going
right now.
top of the line, so it's going to be just
There is
a
no,
rocket.
there is just the Focus.
It's going to be a rocket. It's going to be great.
You can modify that too.
All right.
Excellent.
Basically, Focus
I mean,
ST.
we don't have any rear-wheel drive car with a manual transmission. In the
Yeah, they're
market
called
available
Mustangs
right
and
now.
Camaros.
Yeah, you got to go for one of
No,
those bad
but
boys.
again, that's two-seater. Sorry, it's two doors.
2 plus 2.
Two
2
doors,
plus
yeah.
2.
2 plus 2, but it's not a
You
four
want
door.
a rear-wheel drive 4-door car. Vehicle, manual. You're looking at a Wrangler Unlimited.
What about a Charger?
No,
Challenger?
automatic only.
Challenger?
Charger's got automatic.
Challenger?
Challenger, you
Oh
can.
God, I mean, the choice is quite restricted.
Yeah, yeah, no,
Well,
it's
you
crazy.
know what? Hang on. Before you get too judgy, the Challenger. I've driven manual Challengers, and it's a proper 4-seater. It's a personal. It's massive. You could put 4 people.
Do we get
very-
the the standard?
You do. You do get SRT comes standard.
Ooh,
SRT
now
standard.
we're starting to
And a
bake.
little bird told me that the basic RT 5.7 can also be ordered specially with the manual.
Okay, now we're cooking with oil.
Okay.
So that's
Ooh.
a pretty
So
solid 4-seater.
what will that cost me? Will it be in the 200,000 range?
SRT is a very, very quick car. That's around 200-ish. Probably can go and drive a hard bargain with there's some old stock. For the manual, I think they got a couple of manuals down there as well. RT
Alright.
will have to be special ordered, but that should be around the 160, 170 mark. But it's not here. As far as I know, those cars aren't here, so you have to special order them, so that could be 2 to 3 months. So if you're impatient, which most
And-
people are,
And where can I special order them from? From
From the
Alpha
dealer.
Team?
Yeah,
From the
Alpha
dealer.
Tame. Good Alpha
Okay.
Tame
but
and have a
they're
chat.
gonna they're gonna be like, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you really sure? And they're gonna ask for some money up front. It's not because they've had a lot of car kickers who come down like,
Yeah.
oh, I want a manual, and then like, oh, but my wife, or or I just didn't feel like driving like that. So you can understand their perspective. They don't bring
Right,
stock in
right,
because the
true.
cars just sit But I've driven only manuals for the last 10 years.
I
and
hate to
couldn't
do
be
this to you, but I got to let you go so we can get to the next caller. Do let us know how this whole dilemma turns out for you. We want to hear what you end
Fine,
up buying.
we'll do that. Thank you so
Great.
much for your
Thank
advice,
you.
guys.
Have a good
Thank you so
one.
much.
Bye.
Have a nice
happy.
day.
There we
These
go.
texts are stacking up. We got to start cracking through them.
I know. You know what? We're taking this caller and then we're heading over to the text line. And this is Tarek joining us. Tarek, you've been holding patiently for a very long time. You want to talk Ford Explorers?
Yes, exactly. I was just listening to your discussion with the caller before this one, who you were talking about with regarding Ford.
Yes.
Right now, I'm driving Ford Explorer, and
What year are you driving?
It's 2013 XLT,
Nice.
Good
and it's
vintage.
black color.
Yeah.
And I understood that you meant that although Land Cruiser and petrol are really nice for off-road, but I think you were discounting the fact that Explorer is also pretty good when it comes to off-road.
The problem with the Explorer we were talking about is it has those very
Low front bumpers.
Low front bumpers. It's really the sport edition. It could go off-road.
He was
but
talking about a sport version. That one runs on like 20-inch wheels. That's not going off-road.
It's not
That's
a good
going
off-road
anywhere.
vehicle.
It'll handle the beach, but it's not
Yes,
a dune
exactly. So what I did personally is that in last year I have actually done a dozen of camping off-road, and some of them were really off-road, like on the Rocky Mountains.
In your
Yes, on my Explorer. My other friend had Land Cruiser, and wherever his car would go, my car would follow. Of course, he was at the front because he had Land Cruiser, and I was following him, and there were some occasions where we actually thought maybe Explorer will not make it because they were not enough clearance. That's what my friends thought. But when I actually drove, it went very well.
Well done.
Well,
Explorer
it's not the
pride.
Car, but it's not the car.
It's
the
the driver.
driver.
Exactly.
It's the driver.
Yeah.
So it doesn't
No,
matter
no,
what
I-
car we put you in, you can drive, clearly.
No, I'm not expert on off-road, and I
Don't have to be, but you
last
managed
year-
to get where you wanted to go.
You know you have a symbiotic relationship with that vehicle. You are able to make it do what it needs to do, and I'm telling you, that's man and vehicle becoming one.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So the difference is, the Explorer
Okay,
is...
now my last question.
Okay.
Question for
Okay, let's do it.
Explorer. The question is that it's 2 years old now, and I'm planning to keep it even after the warranty expires after 5 years.
Yes.
So is it good option or not?
It's fine. I would extend the warranty, though.
I would.
I would extend the warranty.
I'd extend the warranty if you like the
No,
vehicle
actually,
and you're
they
keeping
would not.
it. No?
They would not extend. They would not extend after 5 years because they said that 5 years is the max they can do.
Okay, well, they can talk to other companies like Gulf Warranties. There are plenty of other options that we can buy warranties
Ah.
from, and they'll basically handle the warranty claims.
Yeah.
And if I don't go for warranty, then
Well, like anything else, you pay as you mind, you take it.
Yeah.
Any car can be unreliable. Any car can be reliable.
Yeah.
Every car is different, and depending on how you've treated the car, how you've maintained the car, and whether you've been regular with the servicing or whether you've been abusing it off-road,
Yeah.
I don't know. So really, every car is different. Every situation is different. And I try not to generalize. I think you'll be fine if you
Yeah.
look after the car, and obviously, whatever happens, you could drop a transmission tomorrow,
Right.
but it'll still be cheaper than buying an all-new anything.
Exactly.
So you got to wait up and take your choice. Take your choices.
Hey, thank you very much for joining us.
Okay,
Thanks
thank
for
you.
sharing your stories. Have a great one. Bye.
bye.
This is Car Talk. Imtishan's here from Motoring Middle East. Imtishan is here from Motoring Middle East. He is a definitive automotive journalist. MotoringMiddleEast.com. Go check it out.
Definitive.
The definitive.
MotoringME.com.
Yes, go
where
check
we get
it
more
out.
definitions.
Yeah.
Word of the day even sometimes.
Yeah. So we're going to power through the SMS messages right now. We've got Aljaz has got one here. He says, "Hi guys, can you advise on any car within 250,000 dirhams that at least has the following specs: minimum 300 horsepower engine, dual clutch, and quad exhaust. Please, all-wheel drive also."
Easy pieces. Very quickly, all VAG Group products, Audi S3, RS3, or Volkswagen Golf R.
There we go.
There you go. Done. Finished.
There we
Next
go.
one.
Now, of those, which one would?
RS3 or S3.
Really?
I like the
You think?
S3. Yeah, fun cars.
RS3.
The Golf R is a bit dull.
Hmm.
Sorry, VWPR. If you're probably listening, she's going to hit me now. But yes.
Okay, there we go.
Quickly before she listens.
Yep. Scott has come through and says, "Hi guys, I'm looking for some suggestions. Trading in the 2012 Range Rover Sport and looking for an SUV that will hold its value a little better."
Posh. Great car, the Range Rover.
Yeah.
But he's probably getting torched on resale.
Absolutely.
'Cause the new ones come out.
Well, that's what he said. Hold
Poor
value a little better. He says, okay, here are the options: VW Touareg, Jeep Grand Cherokee, the Mercedes ML or better. To maybe I should stick with a Nissan or a Toyota. It's an open question. I know, but he says it's an open question. I know that,
Okay.
but I would appreciate your opinions and think the RR is overpriced. Range Rover.
It
Range
is.
Rover.
But it is a fashion-led car. Out of that, obviously, the residual champ Land Cruiser. Next up, Nissan Patrol. I think petrol's going up recently with all the sales.
I'd go with the petrol, but the Jeep Grand Cherokee.
Jeep Grand Cherokee won't have the same residuals, but
No.
it is much better than a Range Rover, and I think you'll find it's a pretty solid car. That'd actually be the car I'd have. Because if you don't
Jeep
go
Grand
off-road
Cherokee?
that much,
Yeah.
the Grand Cherokee will go off-road. Okay, it
Sure.
will go off-road. Just as far as the Land Cruiser will. And it's better to drive. So,
I'm
new
still-
car
I don't
versus
know.
residual champ.
I don't know if I would go for the Jeep Grand Cherokee or the Nissan Patrol.
Damn, 7-seater. So you only 7 seats get the petrol as a car to drive every day. Grand Cherokee.
Yeah,
man.
Grand Cherokee's a
And you
sweet
have a
vehicle.
variety of engines. You have a thrifty V6, a powerful
Yeah.
V8, or an SRT.
You know, and let's face it, I'm biased. I really do like the Jeep lines, and
Yeah.
and we talk about out of warranty. My vehicles
I
are
would
well
say
out of warranty, so
don't make any snap decisions based on the fact that you lost a lot of money in your last car because
Yeah.
you're thinking, oh, I have to get the most.
yeah. What do you like driving? Because if you really like your
Go and
Range
drive
Rover,
the car
then go
every
get
day.
another one.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
I mean, I would,
Great
I would
deals
put
on
up with it.
LL4s right now.
Yeah.
So if you really like your Range Rover, buy another one.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, at the end of the day, if you're buying a vehicle for investments, maybe not such a good
Cars
deal.
are not a place to park your money.
Yeah, no, don't do it.
Unless it's a DeLorean.
You know, yeah, there you go.
Quick plug.
Here's another one from Garish. It says, I drive a Lexus IS300. It's clocked 350,000 kilometers. Bought it brand new. Wow. And so far, the
Keeping
car
his
is
car.
great.
Keeping
Thank you
his
for
car.
Thank you for your suggestion. 350,000 kilometers.
Just broken in.
Yeah, barely. It's great.
But you got the most value out of the car.
Yeah. And that's the thing. You know, I'm up at 200,000 on my Wrangler, and some
Can't believe that. Well done, James.
people have said, well, why don't you get a new one? And just like you said, you know what? At this point, I can fix anything in that vehicle for way less than a new one costs.
It's a hard pill for people to swallow, and I know because our job is to encourage people to buy
Yeah,
new
yeah.
cars, but old cars are the best way to
And-
live. Because
and
you
I-
don't have to worry about scratching your dinghy anymore. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. And I do like the new ones. I got to say, there's elements of the new vehicles I
Well,
like.
when
But,
the new one comes out next year, maybe.
but I do like what I'm driving. So, hi, folks. I have a V8. What is it? What is it?
Front bumper. He wants a front bumper.
Yeah.
He wants to know where he can get a low-cost
Oh,
iron
that's
bull
right.
bar. Okay, couple of quick things. Yes, you can modify it from any number of off-road shops like the ones we recommend, like Rage Garage
But
But front bumper steel bumpers are illegal, and you can drive around with them. But come for registration time, you have to swap them over to the original stock bumper. So it's a bit of a faff.
Yeah.
And off-road, it's a bit heavy. So unless you're like really you're doing some rock crawling or stuff like that, you don't need. I'm not a big fan of steel bumpers. They look cool. They
Yeah.
they up your bro quotient.
yeah.
But
the bro quotient, I like that. Yeah.
but they do not aid your off-roading ability. I mean, the LR4 is a very capable car. You can probably get a lightweight one done. I mean, don't spend too much money on it. I don't think I'm a big fan of it. You can do it, but it's a real pain registration time. And if you have an accident, it automatically becomes your fault. So where's the need?
Yeah, here's another one. I'd like to know your recommendation on which Range Rover is the most reliable. An HSE, a Sport, supercharged, etc. I'm looking at 2009 to 2012 year models. Also, can you give me a basic price you think might be?
Well, we don't do prices anymore, do we?
We know we don't do prices.
But I will say that out of all
HSE?
these cars, which is most reliable? Well, it's the one that's been serviced according to the manufacturer's recommendations. It's
Yeah.
not been taken off-road and abused off-road or used as a shopping trolley,
Yeah.
a lift tray to push carts around. It's the car that's been best looked after. And that
Which
doesn't matter
means-
what engine you've got. You could
Yeah.
have a little old lady who used to take it to the autodrome.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
So it really does depend on.
Go to the dealership, you'll find the nicest ones there.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
then after that, you'll find Dubizzle and so on, and take your chances.
Yeah. Sorry, we don't have a more definitive answer for you there, but literally,
You might find an HSE, which is the best car you ever owned. You
Yeah.
just can't say.
go check the dealer. I
Yeah.
mean, truly. Hi, guys. Great show this evening. I've always wanted to own an M3, and the E92 ones are just about getting to be affordable. It would be a second car, so I'm looking at a manual gearbox. What do you think of the car? Go for it, or don't go for it? Don't touch it with a 10-foot pole?
The manual ones are rare, but not impossible to find in Dubai because quite a few people ordered them.
Yeah.
You know what? I owned an M3, and I had a manual one, and it was magic, man. It was just magic.
Brings a smile to your face.
You know, and I drove the E92. I haven't driven the manual. I've driven the dual clutch, but it is such a spectacular car with the V8, the
Yeah.
big high revving V8. I would get it. You know what? Of course, good plan going with the second car option. It's not going to be affordable. It's going to be a little bit pricey once in a while, but make sure you find a good second-hand garage. Sorry, I should say a good garage to
Yeah.
look after the car, and you'll be fine. I mean, it's not going to be as cheap to run as a Toyota, but the smile quotient,
Yeah.
makes
you feel good.
Look, at the end of the day,
That's what a car's
you want to be
for.
able to tell somebody then I had an M3.
Yeah.
You know, nobody can take that away from you. So
No.
even if it costs you a bit of money, it is so worth it. I cannot
Yeah.
Find the words.
Yeah. So
Get an M3.
basically,
Get a manual M3.
go do
They
it.
won't make them anymore.
Yeah, go do
get
it.
one.
Ali's saying, hold on, guys, with the manuals, doesn't the Renault Clio used to have a sport one?
Very, very small car. Nice car. One of my favorite cars, but
do
it
they?
is...
I wonder if they're still bringing them in manuals.
No, it's only PDK dual clutch now. Not
there we
PDK, but
go.
it's a Renault one. It's not as good, I'm told, as well.
We've got a lot of love coming from somebody. I'm not quite sure who it is. Didn't put their name on it, but thank you very much for your support, by all means.
Always glad to get nice comments.
Yes. Can you get the a 2-liter turbo Santa Fe in the UAE? Adrian's asking.
This is probably out myself as not being too up on Hyundais. As far as I know, no. The Santa Fe is not available with the turbo in this market, as far as I know.
I haven't seen any coming.
But Hyundai,
But
the dealer has a habit of bringing in cars, not telling anybody, so
And
it
you
might
know
well
what?
be sitting there for all I know.
They might even bring one in if you go and ask them.
Very unlikely because they got to get certified and there's Saudi regulations and things, so it's not a surprise. But they might just do it without telling anybody, including us journalists. So go down to the dealer and ask. But I don't think there is one.
Okay, Aziz has got a question, and I have no idea. Maybe you can help him out with this. He says that he's selling his Nissan Patrol on Dubizzle. They wanted to know how does the money exchange should be done? Cash, bank transfer?
No, don't do bank transfers. Look, this is a personal opinion. Take it with a grain of salt. Go down to the point when you're going to register your car and you're going to do exchange the money there. Count it. Don't take checks. Don't take any... Look, the same common sense rules you apply to buy anything else. If you can't see the money, don't give them the object.
Yeah.
So,
Get
again,
the cash.
common sense, do you not think?
Yeah.
Cash, cold hard cash. And make sure that it's real cash. No dollars, no anything. Dirhams, cold hard dirhams.
There we go.
Yeah.
So get cash. Don't mess around.
Yeah.
Same, Aziz has come back and also said, my father is selling his 2008 BMW 650 and wants something new but doesn't want to spend more than $250,000.
Buy another BMW.
Yeah.
He likes a BMW.
If you like
He's
a Beamer.
kept it from 2008.
If you like a Beamer, get
I don't
a
think you
Beamer.
get a 650 because they're quite pricey, but you'll get the 4 Series, you get the new 435i. You can get the Jag XE. That's quite nice. That's 235,000 dirhams. But I don't know if it's big enough for him. If you're looking for a big car, that might be tricky. Some of the Cadillacs maybe. The new CTS that's coming.
Yeah,
the
but
80.
if he likes a Beamer, he's going to want a Beamer. He's going to be disappointed.
I
He gets
think-
into something else, he's going to go, why didn't I just get another BMW?
I think he just wants another Beamer, and
Yeah.
he's trying to tell you that. So let
Yeah.
him go back to the Beamer.
he's doing the due diligence. He's looking around, but at the end of the day, he wants the Beamer.
Okay.
You know that. I know that. We all know this.
Yeah. Just get another Beamer.
Kumar say, and I can tell you right now, wait. But here's the question. Should I buy the 2016 Mercedes E-Class or wait later this year when the new design is released?
You know what? The new ones just come out. Drive a hard bargain if you want to get the old one, but I wouldn't bother.
wait,
Just get the
wait,
new car.
wait.
It's here. It's coming, and you're gonna kick yourself.
Yeah. You're
Because
gonna
the new
say,
car moves the game on. They
Yeah.
always do.
Yeah.
It's a German car.
this is going to be the car.
Yeah.
So, I mean, unless you're looking to get a little
Unless you
bit
really
of
like the
bargain.
current one.
Yeah.
Because the new one's out. You can check out on Motoring ME or anywhere else. You can check out pictures of the new car.
True.
So
If you really love the current one, go for it. You can drive a hard bargain. They might even...
they will bite your arm off. Not
Yeah.
literally, figure of speech,
Right.
to have the car.
Yeah. But if you wait, you are going to be smiling from ear to ear. Definitely. Do we have time for one more? We're
Sure,
already
why
we're
not?
already over the time here, but okay, one more. When you're buying a car or selling, wouldn't you use a banker's check or a bank?
It just adds another level of complication. You got to go cash the check and so on.
Yeah.
And there have been cases of fraud out here.
Yeah.
And I'm not a financial expert by any means, but
Hey, if the
wake
guy's
up,
got the money,
I would
go
not
draw the
accept
cash
check.
out. Give me the cash.
Yeah, you know what? Go with him to the bank, get the check. I mean, if he can write a check, he can get cash. And
just
even if
you-
it's 250,000 dirhams, 250 dirhams.
Just go get that Jerry Maguire clip. Show me the money. Show me. That's it. That's all. You just keep playing that.
The police cannot be much help if you get defrauded by checks later.
There we go. Yeah. You know what? We don't have any more time to take any more questions. Time is up on the show. Absolutely appreciate all the callers, everyone who's taken the time to text through. We got one text left. We'll get to it next show. You know, this is Car Talk. This is an hour of the opportunity to have a conversation about the automotive world. And Motoring Middle East is far and wide the most comprehensive place to go and have a conversation about these cars
Or be
online.
entertained. Come and watch us on our YouTube. And,
You know what? You cross the line, which is excellent. Cross the line of information and entertainment beautifully.
Infotainment.
YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and motoringme.com, the website. reporting, driving these vehicles. You write about them. You write about them from a variety of different ways. Absolutely appreciate you coming in. Imtishan and Shahzad's usually here as well. The tag team of automotive journalism is usually here in the studio, and go and check them out online. You will see and read exactly what I've been talking about. We'll talk to you again next week, same place, same time.